Costly 401k mistakes you must avoid. We recently got a comment from a 23-year-old viewer asking how this person could retire by age 50. It's a great goal and totally possible, but only if you avoid some costly mistakes.
First off, I'd like to say asking that question at 23 is actually the first really great move.
Yeah, that person's
not waiting till you're 49 and going, how do I do this next year?
Or 64 and a half. Hey, I got 6 months to save for retirement. How am I going to do that? Yeah, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Yeah. No. Okay.
Mistake number 1. Taking the wrong level of risk. Not knowing your financial risk tolerance can lead to disaster or missed opportunities.
Because it goes both ways, right? You could be too ambitious and do something super, super risky, or you could do nothing and be in cash for 40 years.
Now then, would you like to explain to our dear viewer, hopefully we have one, what risk tolerance is, my dearest? Ow! No, that's not risk tolerance. Okay.
You didn't tolerate it at all.
No, I did not. That was spousal abuse tolerance, not risk tolerance. What is your tolerance for risk, and how does it change as you age and you get more income and you have different goals? All right.
And part of the idea is also that when you're saving in your 20s, you have a longer way to adjust.
Well, that's the big part of it, right? So generally speaking, the longer the time horizon between now and when you need your money, the greater risk tolerance people generally have, because you have a longer time horizon to correct for that. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that somebody who's 21 years old is going to be extremely risky in their investments. They're just much more likely, they're more tolerant to risk than you're going to be at age 65. So it's based on that person's own risk tolerance, and there are lots of calculators online to help you figure out how to do this. Now then, there's something called the Goldilocks analogy, all right, which Zach likes. All right, not too hot, not too cold, just right. So in other words, what's the right blend for you? What's the right amount of stocks and fixed income and bonds and things like that? How risky do you want to be? All right, you need to find out what your Goldilocks strategy is. What is going to be the right mix for you? Now then,
eat porridge daily.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. All right. Now then, what is rebalancing and why is that important? So let's say your risk tolerance says you should be 60% stock or equities and 40% fixed income. All right. And you're making deposits over time. Right? Those things are going to grow differently. So what happens if you now have 50% fixed and 50% equity because of how things have done? What you're supposed to do is rebalance your account to get it back to 60-40. Or if you have 70-30 equities versus fixed, okay, you're supposed to rebalance, because if you just do it once thinking you're having a 60-40 investment strategy and you never pay attention for 44 years, maybe you're at 0-100 or 100 or 99-1, okay? You need to be paying attention to that. Mistake number 2, using only one tax strategy. In other words, don't do it. All right. Now then, as everybody seems to understand the concept of diversifying their investment strategy, in other words, you don't have 100% of your money in Microsoft, okay, you spread it out a little bit, as an example, all right, you're supposed to have a tax strategy as well. Most people's biggest asset is their house, okay, so that's part of a tax strategy. The next one is probably their employer-sponsored retirement plan, which means it's pre-tax, okay? So to diversify that, you're going to want to look to see how Roth is going to play in your life at retirement, all right? We are not...
And it definitely can be in your 401k plan.
It's legally...
Legally can be.
Yes. If it's not, ask your employer to put it in there, all right? It's not additional testing or requirements for your employer if you allow Roth in the plan, okay? So we are not 100% advocates for everybody having Roth. We are 100% advocates for everybody understanding how Roth can or cannot help them, all right? Make yourself understand what's going on with Roth, All right.
And the reason is then you have a couple of buckets when you retire. You can have
Correct.
a year where you don't have much income and it's not too bad to take it out of the pre-tax regular 401k bucket, or there could be a year where you have a lot of income but you still need some money out of your plan and you take it out of the Roth side, which is you've already paid your taxes when you put it in.
Doesn't add and is not.
So we watched a video recently where somebody took a big distribution out of their 401k plan when they retired, and all they had, it sounds like, was pre-tax money. So they had a lot of income in 1 year. And wow, if it had been Roth, if there was some Roth in there, they could have taken Roth that year. They could have feathered it through a little bit.
Okay. So now then, when a pre-tax contribution means you are not paying taxes on it now, all right, but that means you're going to pay taxes on it when it comes out. There's no cost basis on that. Whatever you're taking out is taxable. Roth is different. You're paying taxes on it now, but when you take it out, if it's been in there for more than 5 years and you're over 59 and a half, it's tax-free. Not tax-deferred, tax-free. Okay? So if you have some of your retirement plan be pre-tax and some of your retirement plan be Roth after tax, your tax bill when you take your money out is going to be very different. Now then, we are not talking about needing a plumber, but pay attention to leakage. Okay? Our goal is to get enough people informed that they don't leak in between employers. All right? Katherine, what's leakage?
So, that job I had when I was 22 years old and I only put $1,000 in that account, I think I'm just going to take it out and use it on a new iPhone because it doesn't matter. But that money when you were young really does matter. So roll it over. Roll it over into your next employer or into an IRA. All those little chunks of money matter a great deal. And sometimes people go, just because it's not massive money means it doesn't matter. But even small amounts can matter over a very long time.
Because if that $1,000 you took out, you had a 20% withholding, that's $200. And you're going to pay a 10% excise tax on that, so that's at least 30% off the top right there. So instead of having $1,000, you're left with $700 instead of rolling that over to an IRA or to your next employer, okay, which would give you $1,000 leg up. All right. That's what leakage is. Now it doesn't necessarily have to just be in between plans, okay? Lots of plans now allow for in-service distributions. Okay, that's a form of leakage. Yes, if you're doing it to prevent being evicted or somebody's had a catastrophic event, if you're using it because of that, that's one thing. But just because your plan allows for a distribution while you're employed, that doesn't necessarily mean you should be emptying it out, okay? That is a form of leakage.
Number four, not knowing your plan rules.
Yeah, you got to be aware. Every 401k plan is different. Yeah, there are some hard and fast rules.
Just like siblings.
Do not assume yours works like everyone else's, like your friends, or like your last employers.
Or what AI tells you.
Especially what AI tells you. Now then, make sure you understand what your current plan's contribution limits are. And what we're talking about there is if you are lucky enough to defer at the maximum amount, it is your responsibility, not your employer's, not the record keepers, not the financial advisors. It is your responsibility to change your enrollment to make sure you're benefiting from the maximum catch-up or the maximum amount you can take out for that year. And if you're one of the special ones who are 60 to 63 years old, make sure you're benefiting from the super catch-up if your plan allows for it, and there's no reason for them not to.
It's a small window. Take advantage of it when you can.
It's a rolling 4 years. Don't ask me the reasons, all right? The matched formulas. Make sure you understand this plan's match formula, not your prior employer's match formulas. Is there a vesting schedule, okay, or not? Do you have Roth available? Are loans available? And having a loan, having the ability to take out a participant loan is not a protected benefit. So just because you could take out a participant loan last year does not mean you can take out a participant loan this year. Pay attention for your summary plan description. Actually, Be unusual. Read it. All right. How was that?
So if you
You.
want to see how much you can save when starting a new 401k plan, check out our tax credit calculator with the link in the description.
And you know what to do. Like, subscribe. You understand the assignment. Okay. Let people know about us. Leave a comment. And most importantly, don't forget to keep the cards and letters coming.
Thanks for watching.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.